What is up, YouTube? So, a little bit of a different camera angle today. I had to use my mom's car. My car was being blocked in the driveway. Um, Heading over to Planet Fitness now to go train some friggin' shoulders. The time is currently 10:30 p.m. and I'm a little tired. I just worked a full day, and yeah, I'm a little tired, but all that matters is that I'm going and getting it done. There are times when you have to say to yourself, am I tired because I'm just genuinely exhausted and I'll hurt myself if I go train? Or am I just going to be lazy and laziness is what's making me not train? So you kind of have to decide for yourself why you'd take off of the gym. So, in my opinion, if I took off, it would have just been due to laziness, not actual exhaustion. So you have to be in control of like the decisions that you make. But being that it is late and I don't want to be up all night with a bunch of stimulants right now, I am having a stim-free pre-workout. I feel like everybody should invest in a stimulant-free pre-workout. I just think it has a lot of benefits. You do gain a tolerance to caffeine over time. And yeah, the more you have, the more you're going to need in the future to kind of still give you the same effect. So if you don't necessarily need caffeine on a certain day and you're feeling like your energy levels are pretty high, maybe skip the caffeine. Unless you're going for like a PR or something and you want a little extra boost of energy, then of course take some pre. But if you can kind of foresee yourself not really going for any PRs and you're feeling pretty good energy wise and you're just going for a good pump, get a stim-free pre-workout with a lot of like pump ingredients in there, and it'll do you just as good, and it'll save your tolerance for when you really do need the caffeine. It's not really good to really be super dependent on it, and I absolutely am. So I'm sounding like a bit of a hypocrite to myself right now. Of course, I didn't need to add that in, but I am working on the whole addiction to caffeine. I'm definitely trying to cut back on it, as you can see now with my stimulant-free pre-workout. When you're buying a stim-free pre-workout, though, make sure it has an adequate amount of pump ingredients, though. You definitely want your L-citrulline, and you definitely want some sort of a sodium in there as well. Should say like pink Himalayan sea salt. That's always a good one. But yeah, I'm heading over to Planet Fitness now to go train some shoulders. Planet Fitness, once again, coming in clutch with the 24-hour access. And yeah, I'm going to go slam some shoulders. I'll probably start off with some rotator cuff warm-ups. I don't want to injure anything. So I'll warm up all of that. And then I'll probably jump into some Smith machine military press for my first movement. I typically like to keep my pressing movements on the heavier side for shoulders with lower volume. And then I like to go higher volume on side delts and rear delts. That's just the way I connect with my shoulders personally. I've always found that doing heavy shoulder press definitely fatigued my front delts, and doing more volume on side and rear delts definitely contributed to some nice growth. So again, this is just me being more on the experienced side, I guess, of lifting to know how my body reacts. Like if it's just your first year in the gym, and you're just like, and even by the first year you'll probably have an idea of what works, what doesn't work. But even at that point, you might not fully know. Maybe I don't even fully know. But it's always good to keep an open mind to training styles, and that's what made me know. Having an open mind has actually helped me know what works and what doesn't work. And I feel like going low volume for side and rear delts didn't really contribute to as much growth or as much connection to the muscle as higher volume reps and sets do. So that's what made me kind of choose that like training style. But typically for shoulders, I like to start off with press, like I said, then go to my side delts and then my rear delts. And then I kind of like to do the cycle all over again. And then I'll probably finish off with just a little bit of a forearm pump and maybe a little bit of abs. I'll probably record some of those today just to show you that routine. But yeah, that's about it. I kind of like to keep my shoulder days pretty simple. I feel like a lot of people like to do shoulders and arms together, and I don't want to knock that for anybody, but for me, I just feel like with the way I train, I like to train 8 sets at least for side and 8 sets at least for rear, and probably around 4 total sets for front delts. And to do any more body parts that day, it's just, I'm in the gym for way too long, so I need to split up my shoulder and arm training. Just cardiovascular wise, I feel like I can't even handle any more than that. It's just a lot. So I like to just isolate my shoulders all on a day, and then I kind of like to sprinkle them in throughout the week. Like I mentioned, I do a little bit of rear delts with back and a little bit of, well, no, actually I don't do any rear delts with back because shoulders is the next day, but I do a little bit of side delts with chest. But yeah, that's basically all I got for right now. I should be getting to the gym in roughly 5 minutes, but I'm going to just listen to some music, get into the groove. It's all about really channeling your motivation and channeling your channeling the focus in a sense. Like, I don't necessarily listen. I kind of like try to almost listen to songs strategically in a sense. Like, I'm not going to listen to like one that's a hype song for me right now. Like, I like to save that for when I'm in the gym. So I sometimes like to listen to calming music right before the gym, just something to get focused. Maybe some Machiavelli motivation as well, just to kind of, hear the greats talking to me, like Nick Walker and Dorian Yates, and just hearing their mindsets just puts me into the right mindset. So if you just find yourself rushing to the gym and feeling like your workouts are kind of blah, maybe listen to some people that motivate you. I'm sure they have a motivational speaking YouTube video on it. So watch that, get into the groove, listen to somebody that, has motivated you, and then your gains will 100% increase from that. And I don't know if that's a scientific fact, but hey, it makes sense. In my head, it makes sense. So maybe you guys could give it a shot. But I'm rolling up on the gym now, and I will see you all inside for the first work set of shoulders. Peace out. All right, what's going on, everybody? So I'm starting off my shoulder workout with some Smith machine military press right here. Going into this first work set, I was warming up, and honestly, I've just been really, really liking more slow and controlled workouts that are still intense rather than pushing super duper heavy weight. I just feel like pushing real heavy weight is amazing for muscle growth, but I want to be able to push heavy weight with good, slow, and controlled form. I feel like the eccentric motion of any sort of movement gets almost half-assed when you're pushing heavy weight, because all you're really focusing on is the contraction of the muscle. You're really just focusing on fully locking out the rep at the top, and you're not really focusing on the other half where you're taking it down slow and controlled. And in terms of bodybuilding for me, I really just want to try to fry the muscle as much as I possibly can. I feel like if I just focus on the concentric motion, I'm just kind of bullshitting the eccentric, and I'm not getting the same effect. And in terms of muscle hypertrophy and growing the muscle, focusing on the eccentric motion is extremely important. But after some Smith machine military press, I'm moving over into some dumbbell side raises right here. Like I mentioned in the car, I like to keep my pressing movements lower volume and my side and rear delt movements higher volume. So as you could see right here, I recorded 2 sets of side delts today. I'm just really trying to go for like 20 to 25 reps, really just pumping as much blood into the side delts as possible. I had my fill of going pretty heavy on these, where I'd grab the 50s and just throw them around, but I don't think that contributed to any muscle growth. Yes, it fatigued my side delts, but in terms of really fatiguing the muscle, in terms of hypertrophy, I really just want to try to put more blood into the muscle rather than them just getting tired and fatigued. I feel like when I threw around the 50s, it did fatigue my side delts, but it didn't really pump them up with enough blood. But now I moved down to the 15s even after those 25s, and I'm really just trying to go nice, slow, and controlled, holding it at the top for just 1 to 2 seconds, and then coming down nice and slow, just trying to, again, put as much blood into the side delts as possible. I made a balloon analogy a couple months ago where I was saying how when you blow up a balloon, you want to keep applying air to the balloon to pump it up, and it's the same concept for pumping up a muscle, except you're not pumping it up with air and you're pumping it up with blood. You don't want to stop the motion for too long, and then because if you stop the motion for too long, then the pump goes down. So you want to just keep fueling it with more and more blood to just fill it up as much as you possibly can. And as you can see at the end, when I can't get the full reps, I'm just doing some mid-rep partials. I like to do mid-rep partials rather than just starting rep partials because your shoulders are activated the entire time. After some of those dumbbell side raises, I'm moving over into some dumbbell rear delt flies. These felt super duper nice. And as you can see, these reps don't look like too much range of motion. I'm just keeping my shoulders in that active zone. Like I just mentioned with those mid-rep partials before on side delts, I'm doing basically the same thing on rear delts right here. I'm just keeping the dumbbells in an active zone where even when I'm at the full contraction, I'm getting a good squeeze. And even at the bottom of the rep, I'm still activating those rear delts, being that they're still being held by the rear delts, if that makes sense. If I take it down to the dumbbells touching each other, it might look like a complete rep, but my rear delts lose activation when I go down even further. But after those rear delt flies, I'm moving back over into my next front delt movement, just doing some machine press right here. Sorry about that, my mic cut off, but basically what I was saying is after those rear delt flies, I'm moving over into a machine shoulder press. As you could see, I'm not even holding on to any of the recommended handles. I'm kind of holding the bar in the middle, and that's just due to the fact that that's the grip that felt most comfortable. If you're ever on a machine where you feel like you can hold a different part of the machine to just get a better contraction and get a better connection with the muscle, by all means, just grab it. I mean, they only have the handles there as recommendations. It's not like the machine's going to break if you hold it any other way. So if something's feeling better, definitely do that. It'll just advance the pump even more and advance the mind-muscle connection. But after those machine presses, I moved over into this row machine actually. But I use this row machine for everything. I use it for skull crushers. And as you can see right here, I'm using it for some cable side raises. Just the height of the cable just feels really, really nice. I feel like a lot of times when people do cable side raises, they set the cable all the way down to the ground. And I feel like it just puts your shoulder in an awkward position to really lift the weight up. So being that the cable was right at my hip height, it felt just like I was rowing, or just like I was raising up like a dumbbell. Because when you're doing dumbbell raises, the weights only stay at like hip level. They don't go all the way down to the ground. So just felt super duper nice, and the fact that it was a cable rather than free weight, it kept the tension on my side delts the entire time. Like I didn't feel like I had to fight gravity too much. But after those cable side raises, I'm moving over into some rope face pulls right here. This is the last movement of the day. I do about 3 sets of 15 with the rope, and then I'm just gonna do another set of 12 or so single arm. As you can see right here, it's kind of like a rear delt fly / row. It's like a hybrid between the two, and these feel really, really nice, especially after a strict face pull row. Just kind of doing a little bit of an in-between feels really, really nice to just finish off the rear delts. Unfortunately, there was no post-workout talk today, and this was the last movement of the day. Next week, actually, in tomorrow's video, I will definitely be filming my arm day, and I will be showing you all of my forearm routine as well. And within the next couple days, I'll definitely show my ab routine as well. So I hope you all enjoyed, and I'll see you tomorrow for some arms. Peace out.